Hello everyone and welcome back to another list video, now talking about my 25 honorable mentions of 2019. We're almost at the end of my list videos, one step closer to the list with my 50 favorite albums of 2019. Now these are 25 albums that I like, but not as much in order to be in my list with my top 50 albums, but I think they still deserve to be mentioned. So starting off, we have the very well textured and very well produced power electronics album of Pedestrian Deposit, Dyer's Hands. At number 24 is the absolutely terrifying and devastating Caligula by Lingua Ignota. This is an album that I honestly wanted to love even more, but for me it's a really good album, it's beautiful, it's really devastating, but it doesn't manage to be up to par with All Bitches Die. At number 23 we have one of the better and one of the more straightforward Witch House releases from Black Ceiling called Picasso 808. At number 22 is a very nice comeback with a really long and edgy album from Insane Clown Posse. Then at number 21 we have one of the weirdest and one of the most obscure sort of mathcore, math rock albums. I'm talking about Pantophobie by Nee. We have another weird and obscure sort of avant-garde and math rock album on my number 20 spot, Imaginary Enemy by Child Abuse. At number 19 is Demon by Mayhem, definitely digging far more this sort of more straightforward black metal direction that Mayhem take with this particular album. Definitely one of the better works they've done compared to some of their previous efforts over the past couple of years. Another great comeback from a band and an upgrade to their sound is with the brand new release of Slipknot, We Are Not Your Kind. Not the most impressive thing ever, but definitely one of the better and one of the more focused and mature albums they've done in recent years. Denzel Curry's Zoo is not one of my favorite things he has done, but it's definitely one of the most hard-hitting and one of the most uplifting trap albums to come out. Really short, really on point. Slater's self-titled mixtape contains lots of great singles with a really sexy and nasty attitude and some really forward-thinking futuristic production. Leaving Meaning from Swans is not one of my favorite things they have done. However, this double album certainly has some of the better songs they have written so far. I just think that it doesn't manage to be up to par or bring something different to the table compared to the extremely well done trilogy of The Seer, To Be Kind and The Glowing Man that they did a few years back. Charlie by Charlie XCX definitely has some of the weirdest, some of the most abstract, and some of the most hard-hitting futuristic bangers to come out in recent years in pop music. If the album was not that inconsistent and had some better features and deliveries, it would make for an even better experience. Kind of a pleasant surprise, but at number 13 is a really catchy and really nice and energetic dance pop album, which is In Pieces by Rings. Ulcers once again release some really beautiful and atmospheric black keys. Their sound, their beautiful atmosphere is still there, it's still present, and it makes for another solid album in their catalog. Honestly, I wanted this album from Minute Machine to be far higher on the list, considering that their previous effort, Violent Rains, was one of my favorite albums on the genre of dark wave music and minimal wave from this decade. However, I can't say the same about this new release from Minute Machine. It has some really nice elements, but it feels kind of repetitive and kind of the same after listening to some of the solo efforts from Hunter. It really doesn't bring something even more to the table, and it's a bit sad. At number 10 we have the sophomore album from Hiro Kone on Dice Records, a really nice ambient industrial techno sound with some really nice sounds and a really nice dark atmosphere to it. Another album from Dice Records is this collab project containing sound collage, power electronics, industrial, ambient music. Trials and Tribulations is a really nicely produced album with some great soundscapes. At number 8 is one of the darkest drum and bass albums to listen from this year. It's Iris by Paragon. Number 7, we have another gorgeous and beautiful classical release from Penguin Cafe with Handfuls of Night. Such a beautiful album. Nowhere Now Here from Ono is, in my opinion, one of the better and one of the more focused albums they've done so far. I really like the direction they took with their sound on this one, and it sounds beautiful with some really nice elements in terms of production. Fine Line might not be up to par with his debut, but Harry Styles still offers some great pop and indie rock music with his sophomore album. One of the better Greek releases of this year and a surprising one is the sophomore album from Villagers of Ioannina City. Age of Aquarius, in my opinion, is better in all fronts compared to everything they've done. In terms of production, in terms of songwriting, in terms of structures, and the whole general sound. Seems that there is a better sense of direction on where they want to go with their sound. At number 3 is one of the more brutal and one of the greatest death metal albums I've heard from this year. Of course, I'm talking about Deserted by Gatecreeper, an album that I was highly anticipating and it was definitely worth it. At number 2 is a very solid Icelandic atmospheric black metal release of Sinmara. A really nice and nasty black metal album with some great production to it. And finally, at number 1, the closest on getting into my top 50 with my favorite albums from the previous year is The Sublime by Jerusalem. This is literally a choice taken at the last moment. It's only a few days since I've heard of this album, and I honestly really enjoyed it, and I'm pretty sure that if I listen to it more, I'm going to like it even more. But for now, I think it's a quite solid and decent album combining some black metal and post metal with industrial elements. It has some 777 era of Bluetooth Nord, which makes sense since one of the members of the band is from Bluetooth Nord, and I think it's a really nice and refreshing album, so that's where I'm going to leave it. And with that being said, there are only 2 videos left, ending with my list videos. There's going to be a video with my top 50 favorite songs of 2019, and then we're going to end things off with my top 50 albums of 2019. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.